Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel, where we explore the greatest mysteries of human history. Today, we're taking you on a journey to a place that might just rewrite everything we thought we knew about the beginnings of civilization. Göbekli Tepe, built over 12,000 years ago. This ancient site holds the key to understanding the very first steps of humanity's organized society. Stick with us till the end because the story of Göbekli Tepe might challenge everything you think you know about how civilization began. And trust me, it's fascinating. Well then, let's dive in, shall we? For a long time, historians and archaeologists believed that farming was the key to human civilization. They thought that once early humans figured out how to grow crops, everything changed. Before that, people were thought to be just wandering around, hunting animals and gathering wild plants. But after they learned to farm, they could settle down, build homes, and form permanent villages. Over time, these small villages turned into larger, more complex cities, and in those cities, humans started creating governments, social structures, and maybe most importantly, religion. But what if that story is wrong? What if farming didn't come first? What if humans came together for something much deeper, something spiritual, before they even knew how to grow crops? Entering the 1990s, a German archaeologist named Klaus Schmidt was excavating a hilltop in southeast Turkey. He uncovered what is now considered one of the most astonishing archaeological finds of all time. Beneath layers of earth, Schmidt found massive stone pillars arranged in circles, with some standing over 20 feet tall. And get this, they were covered in carvings of animals like snakes, wild boars, and birds. But that's not even the craziest part. Here's where things get really wild. These carvings were made over 12,000 years ago. That's around 9600 BC. To put that in perspective, this is 7,000 years before Stonehenge or the Egyptian pyramids. But it's not just the age that makes Göbekli Tepe remarkable. What really stuns archaeologists is that there's no sign of farming, no homes, no daily life here. This wasn't a village, it was a temple. Imagine it 12,000 years ago. Humans hadn't yet learned how to farm. They were still living in small bands, hunting wild animals and gathering wild plants. Yet somehow, they managed to build these enormous stone structures. So why did they do it? Klaus Schmidt had a theory that turned the traditional narrative upside down. Schmidt argued that Göbekli Tepe was a temple, possibly the first temple on Earth. People came here to worship. And here's the game-changing idea. Maybe religion was the reason they came together in the first place. Or instead of farming, leading to the rise of complex societies, Schmidt suggested that religion was the glue that first brought people together. Think about it. What if, long before cities and governments existed, people gathered for spiritual reasons, for something much greater than themselves? Could it be that early humans first gathered at Göbekli Tepe to perform rituals and then learned to farm to support these gatherings? The question remains. But here's the one that puzzles archaeologists to this day. How did people who didn't even know how to grow food manage to build something as massive and complex as Göbekli Tepe? Remember, they were still hunters, gatherers, and they also didn't have the technologies we associate with early civilizations. No metal tools, no domesticated animals, no wheels. To build Göbekli Tepe, these early humans would have needed serious manpower, lifting and transporting these stones, some weighing up to several tons. It definitely would have required a large, coordinated group. So how did they do it? Some experts believe they relied on wild resources, such as herds of gazelles or wild grains, to feed the workers during construction. Others think the construction of Göbekli Tepe may have directly led to the invention of farming. Yes, you heard that right. It's possible that the need to support large gatherings at this temple forced humans to figure out how to farm, leading to one of the biggest changes in human history. And so we ask, could Göbekli Tepe be the birthplace of both religion and agriculture? The carvings on Göbekli Tepe's pillars were said to be fascinating, but what do they mean? Archaeologists aren't entirely sure, but Klaus Schmidt believed these carvings were symbolic, possibly connected to the spiritual beliefs of the people who gathered here. If that's true, it could mean that religion, our sense of something greater, something divine, was one of the first things that brought humans together as a community. In most ancient societies, temples were the centers of life. They weren't just places of worship. They were places where people traded, made decisions, and built communities. Could it be that Göbekli Tepe was the first example of that? But here's where the debate gets even more interesting. The traditional view is that farming led to the rise of civilization. That's how it worked with later societies like Mesopotamia, Egypt, and China. But Göbekli Tepe suggests the opposite. Maybe people didn't settle down and then build temples. Maybe they built temples, like Göbekli Tepe first, and then settled down to farm in order to support these religious gatherings. Could it be that religion drove people to settle down, and not the other way around? Some researchers argue that the construction of Göbekli Tepe itself may have pushed humans to invent agriculture. Early humans gathered for a massive festival at this temple, realizing they couldn't rely on hunting alone to feed everyone, and deciding to experiment with wild grains. Over time, that possibly could have led to the birth of farming. Now, let's talk about one of Göbekli Tepe's final mysteries. Around 8000 BCE, something strange happened. The people who built Göbekli Tepe decided to bury it deliberately. They covered the entire site with tons of earth, sealing it off from the world. But why? Some experts think this could have been a symbolic act, maybe marking the end of an era or the beginning of a new religious belief system. Others believed it was done to protect the temple from the elements, ensuring it would be preserved for future generations. But whatever the reason, this deliberate burial adds another layer of complexity to the story of Göbekli Tepe. So, what does Göbekli Tepe tell us about the origins of human civilization? It forces us to reconsider the traditional idea that farming was the foundation of society. Maybe, just maybe, it was religion that first brought people together. Maybe the need to worship, to connect with something greater, was the driving force that sparked human civilization. Meanwhile, the story of Göbekli Tepe is far from over. As archaeologists continue to study this ancient site, we might one day uncover the full truth about its role in shaping human history. But what do you think? Could Göbekli Tepe really be the birthplace of civilization as we know it? Please let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this as mind-blowing as we did, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. It would mean a lot to us. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more amazing history discoveries. Until next time, thank you for joining us on this fascinating journey through time.